Me and Kiyotaka Ayanokouji, we have what I would like to say a love-hate relationship. I love his manipulative puppet master person who works behind the scenes type of personality because he doesn't show off his abilities because we don't need a super powerful MC who does everything and anything he wants because, well, that would be boring. I think a series that does a great job of that is One Punch Man, how Saitama, he can defeat opponents in one punch. However, because he's that strong, they narratively wrote it to where he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, and different things are put in place to where he never gets acknowledged. I think that's greatly done, and I think they do that with this series. But one thing that I hate about his personality is that he doesn't go all out and he doesn't showcase his abilities. Now, I understand why, because, well, it would be a boring series like I said, but at the same time, he helps the class time and time again doing different things, the island test, the paper shuffle, the commander, and more. And he gets slandered all the time, right? There's different characters who are like, oh, well, he's nobody special, so why should like we look out for him and all of that? And it's like, just explain that you've done all this. And you know, it is what it is. But like I said, I understand why the author chose to go down this path. I think he's better for it. Now, this video is not me like, it's a mixture of me giving like a prediction and also like speculating what would have happened. I'm predicting like what's going to happen in the future when he finally does reveal himself. But Kiyotaka, he's an interesting character, so let's get into it. When you look at his character overall, and I've done a character analysis for him, I'll leave it in the description. More like I'll have to do another one when, you know, in a couple months whenever I read more of the books. But he's someone who doesn't like attention. He doesn't want to draw attention to himself, and he wants to live a normal high school life from the shadows. And they've mentioned this in the anime version and in the light novels a couple of times, talking about how he sees people as tools, where I think he does with an asterisk. I think he does care for people, but at the same time, I think some of the stuff he does, he only does on his own accord for his own benefit. So for instance, saving Karuzawa, saving Ichinose, saving Hirata, he does it because he knows that when they bounce back from whatever they were dealing with, that they'll be better for it and they'll be better for other people and for the class. And so it allows him to kind of take a step back and solidify their roles for the different classes. And also he could, you know, if he ever needs calling a favor, he can kind of hang that over them and they will have to owe them one. I think that this allows those characters to ascend on their own while he guided them to do that. But one thing that sits kind of weird with me, and I may do a video about this, but I don't like want to brag, but I'd say I'm like, when it comes to literature, I'm pretty intelligent and I'm able to comprehend stuff pretty well. But one thing that always confuses me is talking about how he feels about being capable and equality. He came to school to figure out what that is. Maybe because of like how he didn't have like stuff going through the white room. I don't know, that something about that just doesn't sit right with me, and I can't really understand what he means by that. As the series has progressed from start, well, to where I'm at in the book, towards the end of year one, there are different characters, well, a lot of them, who have actually known about him. It started out with just Harika and Kushida, and now Hirata, Karuzawa, Ichinose, Saga Yanagi, Ruin, and a lot more characters have started to figure out, maybe they don't know exactly that he's the so-called leader from behind the scenes, but they do know there's something special about him and he's been holding back, or something along those lines, that he's not just an average student. And so if he didn't hold back, obviously his popularity would increase, especially among the girls in his school. I believe Kushida said he's top 5 in terms of looks, and the only reason why he's ranked 5th of the first years is because of his personality. It's very standoffish and he doesn't really interact with it. It's kind of bland. And in book 7.5, Karuzawa, she said that if he showcased his abilities, that he would rival and possibly even surpass Hirata in terms of popularity and how much girls will want him. right? And I'm going to do a video about this probably after the next book, year 1, just talking about everybody who I think would be a perfect match for Kiyotaka, so stay tuned for that. There's also, don't quote me on this one, but I believe somebody said that he ranks 10th among the entire school. And to put that into perspective, there's 40 students per class, without expulsions, but it is what it is. So you do 40 times 4 for A through D, that's 160. And then you do, you multiply that by 3, that's 480. And then say every boy to girl a 1-to-1 ratio. So you divide it by half, so it's 240. And, I believe he would be in like the top 3 to 4% of the entire school in terms of how much people like him. So I think that's important to say. But once you reach the top, obviously people are going to target you. Look at celebrities, anything they do, people talk about them in a positive or a negative light. And what about people who might get jealous of him, right? His friends, I believe Aiken, Yamachi, and Sudo, after the race, they stopped hanging around him as much because they're like, oh, well, he was holding back. And then if he showcases, he's going to be like, oh, well, maybe he thinks he's superior to us and all that. I think that's something we had to take into consideration. He's going to get targeted by other people. He's already been targeted by Sagayanaki, challenged him, the commander, recently in book 11, and he was already targeted kind of by Ruin when he went through Karuizawa to get the X to figure out who was the true leader of Class D. So that's something we had to take into consideration. And also, a lot of times, instead of going to Harita, instead of going to Harada and Kushida, they're now going to go to Kiyotaka to look for the answer for everything and get them out of different situations. And like I said, I can't wait to see everybody's interaction to him coming forward and revealing his true self. Getting reveals like that in anime is just so satisfying and satisfying to me, and I can't wait. But like I said, different times that he showcased a little bit of his strength and that he was holding back was him being the commander, the grip strength, he was above average in that, the relay race, so etc. And so I think something that really amazes me is how intelligent he actually is. That scene in book 11 when Hashimoto was going against Harita in chess, and she was winning, and Sagayanaki and Kiyotaka went in, and they were doing moves, and they were perplexed. They're like, what the fluff is going on? You could tell that people with very high intelligence that they were playing. But I will say, he probably works best when he's behind the scenes. I think that's because he's not limited in his actions, and people aren't targeting him, so he can do everything that he wants. And we know that Nagumo has his eyes on him, so if he gets in the limelight and he doesn't hide his abilities for everybody to see, it's going to be harder for him to make moves. I still do think he'll get it done because, like he said in book 11, even when he's only half trying or not giving his all, he still can't be beat. Where Sagayanaki, the only reason why she won was because the school interfered in their duel. And so people, they're still going to be wary of him, but like I said, I do think he'll be able to get stuff done. And even though his popularity would increase, like I said, he'll be impressive to some people, and some people would be envious of him as well, envious of his looks, his strength, his intelligence, to say that he's almost perfect, even though nobody's truly perfect. But what does he do wrong, except for maybe he's like has a cold personality. And holding back his abilities, it works well with his personality. I think if he didn't hold back, his personality would have to change. I think he would have to be more of an outgoing person. But for the sake of this series, a lot of people like his Chad, standoffish, doesn't really give a fluff type behavior. And I think that's why I like the series. Classroom Elite is my second favorite anime series of all time, manga, light novels, all of that's behind One Piece. And so I like his character because of how it's written now, and I think it wouldn't be as good if they changed him or he didn't hide his abilities. Like I said, he would be more popular, he would be more respected, but he would be more targeted, and he'd be in the limelight, which is something that he wouldn't want. But I wonder what class he would be in, because I believe Chabishira said something along the lines of he's the most flawed student in Class D, so watch him. But what's he flawed about? Is it the fact that he uses people as tools? Is it the fact that he still clings to the white room? Is it the fact that he doesn't go all out? I want to know what she means by being flawed, because Ichinose, she stole when she was in class B, and then Koenji, well, not Koenji, Sagenaki, she is physically limited, but she's in class A. So I think if he would have gotten better scores on his exam, I think he probably would have been in class A or B, hands down. But Kiyotaka is one of my favorite characters, and him hiding his abilities is what makes him a great character. It sucks that he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but everything comes to light eventually. The truth always comes out, so whenever that happens, I'm down to see everybody's reaction. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think he should or shouldn't hide his abilities in the comment section below? Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow my Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.